In this next training video in our Build a Website series, we're going to talk all about the top navigation bar, and we're going to be working in the header. First, we're going to review this header and learn all about it. We're going to change the color to this wonderful firebrick red. Then we're going to add our logo and icon and some text boxes to the header. And last, we're going to add a social bar and configure them to lead to our social media pages. Before we get started, let's review a little bit about this header. We have a logo, we have a social media bar, we have information about our company, and a menu. The menu is called an anchor menu, and this page is called an anchor page. An anchor page is a very basic one-page website. This is the only page we are really going to be working with, and this menu right here is an anchor menu. It's called an anchor menu because instead of leading to another page, when you click this menu, it takes you to a specific location called an anchor point on this one page. Let me show you what I mean. If we click on the About Us, it takes us right to the About Us area. And then if I scroll back up here, if I click on Services, it takes me down to the Services area. And I'll scroll right back up. And Contact Us leads to this area. And back up to the top as well. And Location leads us down to this area. So now you can see we are building one page with multiple anchor points. We're going to connect the items on the menu to an anchor point we place on the page. It's very easy to do, so let's get started. Here at Builderall, we have users of all ages and levels of expertise, and I certainly don't want to leave anyone out. So I'm going to give you a couple of quick tips and some shortcuts. You'd be surprised at how many people really aren't aware of these very easy little shortcuts that can save you a lot of time. The very first thing I'd like to mention is you're going to see me use this Chrome extension eyedropper to grab the exact hex codes and colors from a web page for our website building. The next thing I want to cover is this copy and paste shortcut keys. This will save you a lot of time. A really easy way to copy an element or highlight and copy that text is to, well, on a PC, if you're on a PC, you're going to use the Control key plus C to copy, and you're going to use the Control key plus V as in victory to paste whatever you've copied onto your clipboard. On a Mac, you're going to use the Command plus C to copy and Command plus V as in victory to paste. These will really save you a lot of time. So here we are in the editor, and we're open on the home page. That's the only page we have in this website at the moment. The first thing we want to do is to change our header color to that firebrick red. But before I do that, I want to demonstrate something to you. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add a box. I just want to put an element on the page. I'll put that blue box right there. Close out of this. I want to show you here. I've clicked the box here, and you can see that around the border, it's highlighted. And that lets me know that this element is active at the moment. I also want you to notice that when I move this box, this element around on the body of the page, it activates the body area and lets me know that's where I am working in at the moment. And I'm sure you can see that when I move that how that tells me I'm moving this box into the header at the moment. So I'm going to move it back down here. We got an alert because anytime you change something in the header, you change it on all the pages in the layout. And the same is true down here for the footer. So if you make a change here in the footer or up here in the header, you're going to get an alert, even if you try to make a change, that this is altering all the pages in this layout. So I'm done with my box for the moment. I do have plenty of other uses for this box though. So I have two options. I can right click, I could throw it in the trash can and just be done with it, never to be seen again. Or I can choose this eyeball with a slash through it, and it says hide. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide it because I'll use this box later. I'm going to hide it, and that sends that element right up here to our hidden elements area. It's kind of like a secret stash where that element is still available to the website, but we just can't see it. So let's go up here to the header, and we're going to change the header color. Now a header remains the same on every page in a layout, which means that when you make a change on the header, it's going to change every page in this website that's in this layout of this website. Now we only have one page at the moment, but that's vital information to know as you build more robust websites. So for now, we're going to right click, and we're just going to go down here and click Appearance. That brings up our Edit Element card, and you can see our blue header here has a check mark. I'm going to come over here to the gear, and I'm going to edit this style. If you notice, you have four options here at the top. This option, top left, is a transparent background from edge to edge. You also have below it a colored background or a single background from edge to edge. On the right hand side, on the top, is a header that between the grid lines is one color, and on the outside edges it's another color. If you move down here, bottom right, this header gives you the options to choose a color between the grid lines, and it'll be transparent on the edges. If you'll also notice, as we move down this customize item style, we have the option to add an image into our header. We also have the option to add a shadow. That's sometimes really cool. We're not going to put a shadow on this header, and we can talk more about that at some point. I'm going to uncheck this and close this. We're going to work on the color. So I'm going to click the color. And here, the background color, the background of our header. First of all, let's go up here and make sure that we've checked this option, the color from edge to edge. And then we should come down. And we're going to choose the color. I've left the browser tab open on my window just so you can see the eyedropper tool on the Chrome extension in action. If you can come up here and you can see my little eyedropper here, I can click that. It brings up this card. I can choose pick a color from a web page, and then I can put it on whatever color I want to choose. See, it changes to, that little square changes to green, but I'm going to choose this red, and then I can come back up here to this tab again, so I can copy this hex code to my clipboard. To do that, I am on a PC. I'm going to hit Control C. If you're on a Mac, you would hit Command C. So we've got our color loaded onto our clipboard. Let's go back and save it to that color picker in our Builderall platform. Now that we're back in the editor, now I've already saved our fire brick red here, but I'm going to show you how to do that. If you click more colors, of course you always have the opportunity to pick any color using the slide rule here, but we're going to come down here to this window and I'll paste that hex code right into my window. And that automatically changes. You can see the header has changed to our fire brick red. And if you have not saved this color, you'd come down here, click this save this color, and it puts it down here in your favorites. So you can grab it very quickly the next time you need it. But we're going to click OK, close out of this. And now we have a beautiful fire brick red banner. I'm going to grab this little handle right here, and I'm going to pull it down just a bit and give us a little bit more room. Now it's time to add our logo to our header. So we're going to come up here and we're going to come down here to the Add Elements, the plus sign here on our vertical menu on the left-hand side. We're going to come down and find the image, click the image, and we're going to choose this top image here. We can close out of that now. This puts an image holder in the middle and the body of our page here, so we can right click. It brings up the image card. This is the element card for this particular image. And you can see we have a lot of options on this card, and we'll be talking about a lot of them. I want to draw your attention to these icons right here. These are pretty much standard on all of your element cards. And so I thought it would be wise to cover them. We have a trash can. When you click that, it eliminates this element, whatever element is activated, completely from your page. Now, these two next buttons, these are layer buttons. And when it's activated, you can bring the element up by clicking this bring to front. Or if you click this one here, this send backward, it will send that element to the back of your layers. Here we have a duplicate element. So you can make a copy of the element just by clicking on it. You can see there now I have two image holders on that page. So if I want to get rid of one of them, I right click and then I can get rid of it with the trash can. But of course, also we have on this element card this hide button here. When you click that, that sends it right up into your show hidden elements. And if I click that again, it brings up all of the hidden elements I have on this in this site right now. And you can see I have that box we hid earlier. I can preview that to see what it looks like by clicking the eyeball and then close out of it. And then I also have the image in our hidden elements right now. And again, I can preview it here, but if I want to return it to the page, I just click this left pointing arrow and it returns it right to the page. To hide this card with your hidden elements on it, you just click up here in the menu and it removes that option for you. So we want to add our logo to the header. I'm going to right click this card and I'm going to choose change image. That brings up our digital file repositories, and this is where you're going to be storing all of your images and content in your Builderall account. So the very first thing that I would like to do is I want to add a directory, because I'm going to put all of my images for this particular website in one directory so they're easy to find. I can add a directory by clicking the add directory and then naming it something. Let's call this fruit shop. So I enter in fruit shop and hit enter, and now we have a fruit shop directory. I can activate that. Then I come over here to either the upload button up here or I can drag and drop files right here into this image here. Let's choose the upload. I'm going to click here, and that brings, I hope that you saved everything on your desktop like I have. I've chosen my desktop folder and I've downloaded all of the images we're going to need to build this website. So I'm just going to quickly select all of them actually and open them, and it's going to load all of those images right into my directory, and I'll be able to use them later. When that finishes loading, I'm going to look for our logo. And remember, our logo is white, so this looks like that's probably the logo. It is. And it says Fruit Shop logo. And I'm going to select it, get the blue check mark right here, and hit confirm. That places the logo inside of this image holder. But of course we can't see it because it's on a white background and it's a white logo. So I'm going to just move this right up here. You can see the logo now. And let's go ahead and make this a little smaller. It looks a little large, and put it right up into our header. And you can see as I drag it up into the header here, my header is highlighted with that greenish gold, and I can drop it right on the header. I'm going to get the alert telling me I'm changing every page in this layout. So I'm going to, that might be a little bit too big yet. I'm going to make it a little smaller by grabbing the handle here on the side and just sizing it. Now if you notice, we have a grid line on the left hand margin and the right hand margin. I'm going to move this image right over here to the left hand margin and snap it right to that line. That might still be just a bit big, so I'm going to size it down just about like that. And now we have our logo in our header. Our logo's not the only image that we have on this header. Remember, we have those three icons that are sitting right next to the information about the location and the contact information. Now we could go right over here and add an element by add those images by clicking here and going through the process that I just showed you. I'll click out of this, but I'm going to show you a much faster way of getting that done. We already have an image on our header, so let's activate it. We know it's activated because it's highlighted, and you can copy that right to your clipboard by using those click keys. So I'm going to copy it to my clipboard, and then I'm going to use those click codes for pasting. Command V on Mac, V as in victory, or Control V on the PC. So I'm going to paste it, and that puts two images right on our banner. But we've got two logo images. So on this image here, on the second one that I've just copied, I'm going to right click and I'm going to change that image. That brings up the digital file repository. I'm going to make sure I'm in the Fruit Shop directory. I'm going to choose the first icon here. Let's choose the contact, this envelope here, because I know where that's going. So I'm going to confirm it, and it puts a very large icon on our banner. So we're just going to grab our little handle here, resize it down to an appropriate size. And I know I want this icon on this area of the banner. Looks like that was a little large, so I resized it and made it a little smaller. While I've got this highlighted, I'm going to copy it to my clipboard and paste two copies of it on the banner. So I'm going to copy it and then paste twice. So now I've got all three icons on my banner. Space them out a little bit more just to make it easier. They're all the same icon, but again, I know that this one's going to be our contact information. This will likely be the hours, so I'm going to right click, change the image, and look for the hours. That's this icon. Hit confirm. Then come over to this icon, right click, change image, and then we'll choose the location and confirm. So now I have all three icons and the logo on my banner. I've done a lot. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click save. And then when this save changes comes up, it will tell you what changes it's making, and then save again. Save is your friend. Before we can actually add text to our website or web pages, remember we have to go back and we have to customize the text fonts that we're going to be using in this layout. What I've done is I have made some notes ahead of time about the fonts that we're going to be customizing here in our default group, and I've hidden them on a card in our hidden elements. I'm going to bring that text box back to the page. I'll move it up here so we can see it. And these are the fonts that we're going to be customizing for our layout. So we're going to come over here and click on our title extra large here. That brings up our edit font style, and we have two sides to this. On the left side we have the desktop settings, and on the right side we have the mobile settings. So we're going to come right up here. We can see that our text style for the extra large text is Engelbert, and it's in size 65. So I'm going to put my cursor right here in this field, this search box, and type enough of Engelbert in here to where I can choose it. So I've got Engelbert here. Now I'm going to choose my font size, and that's going to be 65. We'll leave the line height and the letter spacing the same at the moment. You have the option to make this bold if you like, italic if you like, and you can also choose the font color. Remember, when you make these settings though, that's going to be what appears when you choose this style of font throughout your website. We're going to leave this at black. Now for the mobile, we're going to use the same font, but we're not going to change the font size, the justification, or any of the other settings. So I'm going to choose my Engelbert font, and that sets our H1, our title extra large. So we can click out of that box. Now let's move down to your title large, which is our H2, and click it. For our title large, we're going to use Engelbert 49. So again, I choose Engelbert and I set the font size, leave everything the same. Over here on mobile, I'll choose Engelbert, and we can close out of that card. Moving down, we'll do our H3, our title medium, and that is Engelbert, and our size is 28. So I'll set my mobile Engelbert, and we can close out of that card. Coming down for our title small, we have a different type, Helvetica New Light 15. We have Helvetica New. Let's see if we can find a light. So I'm going to scroll down. There's my Helvetica New Light. I'll choose it. And the font size on our Helvetica New Light is 15. On mobile, we'll choose Helvetica New Light. Scroll down and find it. Done with that one. So now we can come down here and our body large card. For our body large font, we're using PT Sans 19. So we'll find the PT Sans. That was easy. And there's the 19. Come over here. PT Sans. And we're good there. Next we have our body medium, PT Sans 15, and our mobile. And our last one down here is our paragraph, our body small. We'll choose PT Sands, and we're looking for 12. Over here on mobile, the PT Sands. Now we can close out of this card, and we've now set our default fonts for the entire site. And that's really, really important, because the more we can choose fonts from this collection, the quicker our website is going to load, and there'll be more consistency throughout our pages. So I'm going to hide this again, and now we can actually add the text we need to our website. Now that we've added the icons to our banner in the header, we need to add the text boxes, the text elements that sit alongside them. So we need to return to the original website, take a quick look at the size of the text and what it looks like so we can duplicate it here. So let's do that. Let's come up here and copy this text, copy it to our clipboard, and return and paste it into our header. The first thing we need is a text box up here in the header. So we'll come over here to the plus and add text, and let's choose this, try this body large and see how big it is. It puts the text box in the body of the page, so we're going to move it up here to the header, and you can see it highlights it, and it gave us the alert that we've changed all the pages in this layout. So we're going to double click in the text box. That puts our cursor inside the text box, and then we can triple click, and that highlights everything in the text box. Now we can paste our text into the field. As you can see, it's black right now, very hard to read. So while my cursor is inside the text box, I'm going to highlight it again and come up here to this paintbrush icon and change the color of the text. So I click here, and it brings up a color picker, and I'm going to choose white, and then click OK. That changes our text to white, and here we see a pretty standard set of tools to edit our text. You probably use this function more than anything else, and perhaps the alignment functions here. So we can click out of that, and we have our text box here on the page. I'm going to kind of bring that closer in. And that is our company information, so we know we're going to go ahead and put it on this side. And I can snap it right to that right guideline next to my envelope. We'll work on aligning this here after we get them all in there. Now that I have a text box on my header, I can do the same thing. I can copy it and then paste. So I'm going to paste 2 more text boxes. I'm going to pull one over here for this icon, and I'm going to pull the other one right over here for this icon. Now I can go back to the original page and do the same to fill in these text boxes and these fields. So let's come up here and grab the hours of operation here, highlight it, and copy it to the clipboard. And now let's activate the text box that we're going to put the information about our hours in. We're going to double click and then triple click to select it. Let's move our editor out of the way. Oh, we'll have to try that again. And once we have all of the text here highlighted, we're going to paste it. Of course, it's black still, so we're going to copy it again and down here and change this. Here, I'll move this up so we can see it better. And come down here to the paintbrush icon and choose, click OK and close that. So now we have just to get the information for our location. So we'll go back to the original website. We'll come up here, we're going to copy and grab this text, copy it to our clipboard, We'll come up here, select this text box. We're going to double click, and then let's move our text box out of the way and triple click. Highlight our text and paste it into this text field. Now we need to change this text box color to white. Highlight it again. Select our paint icon and choose white and OK. You can close that now. And we have all of our text in our text boxes. Yay! We did it. Now let's work on aligning these just a bit better. To do that, we're going to come up here and we're going to activate our ruler, which puts a ruler at the top and on the right. So let's click right inside the ruler and put in a grid line. These grid lines are snap to grid lines, which means that we can take our elements and I can pull this down a bit, and when I get near that grid line, it's going to snap right to it. So that's why I chose this text box. I kept it aligned here on my grid line here, and then had it snap to this horizontal grid line that I have here. Now I can take my image and I can snap it right on that grid line, and I know it's lined up. I'll do the same here. I'll pull this down, snap it to, pull the image down, snap it to, pull the image down, snap it to, pull the image down, and snap it to. So now the biggest thing I want to do is make sure it's spaced evenly. I'm going to eliminate this grid line for the moment, and I'm going to grab our box, return it to the page, and eliminate that menu. And now I'm going to show you a really handy use for this box. If you size it appropriately, I'm going to make it smaller, but I'm going to make it tall enough for me to be able to see clearly. And now I'm going to move this box up into the header. Well, I think I'm going to narrow that just a bit. Just about like that, perhaps. I'm going to pull this box right up into our header here, and I'm going to align it right next to that icon. Then I'm going to pull this text box over, and I'm going to align it, bring the image with it, move the box, align it next to the icon, pull the text box over, then pull the icon over. Now I'm going to pull this box out of the way, check my spacing. That looks pretty well spaced. You can see we got an alert that we changed our header because we pulled that box out. So now I'm going to, I don't need this box anymore for the moment, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to hide it. It'll come in handy at some point. Now I shifted this around just a little bit, so I'm going to put my alignment grid in just a little bit. So I want to bring this down. I think I want to make it align, the top aligned with the bottom of the fruit shop. So I'm going to do my best to keep these next to each other like that, and bring this down and bring this down. That might be a little bit too low. Yes, I think that's going to be a little too low. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to move this down a little bit to where it's about halfway through that text line. See how that looks. I think that level, that horizontal level, is a lot better because remember we have a social media network bar going in here. So I'm going to pull this directly down and let it snap to that line. I'm going to pull this directly down and snap to that line. Same here. Snap to, snap to. Now let's remove our grid line and let's get rid of the ruler by clicking on the icon and take a look at our banner. That looks really nice. Well done. I think that really looks good. The next element we need to add to our header is our social media network bar. So we're going to come back up here to the plus sign, find our social bars right here, click, and if you'll notice, we can scroll down here and find all of our buttons and bars, but I want to call your attention to this little pop-out menu here. It's an anchor menu on the side of your cards. If we're looking for, since we're looking for a social bar, I can come right down here to the social bar category, choose it, and it'll scroll right down to that section. So that'll save you some time too. We're going to look for the social bar that we want to put in our web page, and we're going to put the gray round one here. So I'm going to choose it, and we can close out of this now. The very first thing we need to do is to resize this. It looks a little big. So we're going to right click and we're going to choose edit. This pulls up the card where we can change the size by just using this slider. Let me move this card over, and we can choose whatever size of a slider we want. That looks pretty reasonable to me. We can also change the spacing in between our buttons. So I like to keep it kind of right around there, maybe about 20. And we can also change the position. Right now it's in the horizontal position, but of course we can also change it to a vertical position. We're going to need the horizontal position for this menu bar, and we're going to choose confirm. Now we have our social media bar here. Let's go ahead and configure it to our specific social media pages and exactly what we want on the bar. So we're going to right click and we're going to go to image, and on the left hand side of this card you're going to have a scrolling menu where you can choose exactly which networks, which social media platforms you want to include in your bar. So I'm going to include Facebook, I'm going to include Twitter, scroll down a bit. I don't think I'll include LinkedIn right at the moment, so I will click the X. It'll give me an alert telling me, asking me if I really want to remove this icon, and I do. Pinterest, I think I will wait to put that one on too, so I will delete that one and click OK. And we have Instagram and YouTube. So I have a 4-icon social network bar. That takes care of the left side of this card. But now we need to go over here on the right side, and the right side is where we're going to put in the appropriate information. So I'm going to make sure I have this image selected, this icon, which is my Facebook icon. This top field is the title. The title is a label that pops up when a user hovers over that icon. It lets them know where they're going when they click on that icon. So I'm going to leave it at Facebook. I could change it and put in Fruit Shop Facebook, but I'll just leave it at Facebook. Moving down here, the alt image, that field is for describing what this image is, just in case the image fails to load. So I'm going to leave that at Facebook as well. Down here in the bottom field, that's where you're going to put the link to the URL, the full link to your social media page. So I'm going to copy that to my clipboard and then put my cursor right in that field and paste that link right there. Next, I'm going to choose the Twitter and do the same. I'm going to leave it at Twitter for my title and Twitter for the alt image description. I'm going to copy my Twitter page link, and then we'll come right over here and paste it in this field. So now I'm going to choose my YouTube and do the same. Choose YouTube, leave it the same here, and paste my link. Now I have one more, my Instagram. So I'm going to choose that, and I'll return to the field and paste that link in. Now I have all of my icons customized, so I can choose confirm. And now we have this social media network bar all customized to my links on the platforms that I want to direct my users to. I'm going to take my social media network bar and move it to the header. I'm going to align it underneath this column and drop it, and we'll get the alert. Now I'm going to, since I've added something new with a lot of information on it, I'll come up here, I'll hit save and save again. Now the only thing that we have left to put on this header is the navigation menu. And the navigation menu is an anchor point menu. So we can't really put that in the header until we install the anchor points on the page below. So we'll finish that up after we finish building this page. Wow, that was a fast 30 minutes, but we sure learned a lot. We learned all about this anchor menu in our Fruit Shop website, and we reviewed the header, changed the header color, we added our logo and 3 icons, added some text boxes to tell our visitors all about those links, and at the end we added a social bar that is configured with our social media links, so our visitors will be led to our social media pages. And we did all of that to get ready to add the anchor points into the page below and finish building our Fruit Shop website. So I'll see you in the next video where we'll continue to work down the page building out our Fruit Shop website.